Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to what I like to call questionable car mods. Obviously you can read it for yourself, but we all know why we're here. We're just here to see the best or the worst. I guess I don't really know wherever what it is, but at least from our perspective, we're just here to see the worst of what people think actually is going to look good on their cars. But anyway, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So then starting right off with on the high seas or parked in your backyard. When your power steering goes out and you just need that extra little bit of leverage just to be able to turn the wheel. I mean, that's what it used to be in the olden days, you know. People did just have to crank it around and so they were driving, I don't know what it would be, maybe an oil tanker or something. This certainly puts the expression into driving like a bus to shame, because man, is a boat just so much more difficult to turn than a bus. But no, this is just certainly a ridiculous mod. And I'm also curious about how they've even mounted the thing, and like surely that isn't just kind of a steering wheel cover that they've just kind of managed to kind of stick over, or you know, because who would make such a thing? I mean, I guess obviously judging by this post there's a market for it if someone does actually make one, but really how would you make one and actually be able to make it not just slide around the wheel? You know, do you have to check a couple of screws into your steering wheel just to make sure that it doesn't move around or just roll around and you're actually going around a corner just way too hard? And also obviously a traditional steering wheel on a ship where it's a shorter steering wheel, what would it be called? I guess a rud? No, it's a steering wheel. I guess perhaps that's just kind of called the wheel, but really, you know, they were traditionally made out of wood, and so is that also completely made out of wood? I just want to know how kind of particular they've actually been with this replica. Are the handles wood? Is the entire frame that is on wood? Because the little handle extrusions look like they're wood, but then I just cannot imagine that they've kind of, I don't know how you do it, maybe steam bending or an entire circle around a steering wheel, but surely not. I don't even know how you get that on the steering wheel in the first place. And also, I've just noticed the fact that unless you are an amputee that are driving without legs, there is no way you'd be able to turn the thing, because every single handle is able to hit you in the leg and just put a dead stop to your steering, you know? So what, you're going to have about 5 degrees of steering just with that bottom handle just between your legs? So yeah, this is definitely a questionable car mod, and I'm also just questionable because I just don't understand why anyone would actually want to do this. You know, I get some of the mods that we see on this, you know, whether it be people thinking they're going to get more downforce, whatever it may be, but this one just doesn't make any sense. Hillbilly Dragster. Well, that's actually incredible. They basically put the Batmobile cars on the back of there. I don't know what that car was, but man, look at the size difference between the front and the back wheels. That is certainly a dragster. I mean, I wouldn't exactly say that those wheels are slicks in the way that drag wheels are, but hey, if you ever need to do some kind of dirt road drag racing, I guess this is the car for you. I mean, we certainly can't say what the engine is like, and so I feel as though the engine might actually just struggle to turn those wheels over efficiently, and so you probably wouldn't be getting the highest top speed out of the thing, but man, do you have just grip out the wazoo with those tires. But no, it's honestly kind of an incredible mod, because the amount of work that would have gone into kind of creating something like that, just the amount of room and just the amount of stuff you would need to take out of the rear end of your car just to be able to fit those tires is insane. But let alone the fact that you'd have to change the entire axles and drive shaft of the entire thing. Like really, the amount of work to just kind of end up with a, I don't know, a mediocre looking car at the end besides the tires. And also, I guess unless you did it entirely yourself, I mean, still there would probably be a whole lot of money involved in doing something like this. But really, like to do that to that car, I just don't know if it's really worth it. I mean, hey, it's certainly an attention grabber, and I'm not going to dispute his drag racing claims, but still, it just doesn't really seem like the pinnacle vehicle of anything that it's trying to go for. And also, I just can't understand how anything like this is legal. Like obviously the title said it was a hillbilly dragster, so I can only assume that it's in the States, and so really I guess anything seems to go in some states, but really there is nowhere else in the world besides, like I've said before, I guess maybe Russia, where you would see anything that is remotely close to that. Because personally I can only speak from Australian law enforcement, but really if you got seen by any copco, there is no way that you were making it more than 5 meters with those tires on the back and not being pulled over and arrested, and I don't know, you probably get like 50 years in jail for doing something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong here, I kind of actually do like the idea that they've gone for, but I just can't really get behind the car choice that they've gone for. I guess in saying that, it is a little bit different, you know, usually those tires are put in these massive lifted American trucks, and so to see those tires fitting on the back of what it looks like a Nissan Pulsar, to me, just it's still ridiculous, but it certainly doesn't change the fact that it's a questionable car mod, because there is no reason why anyone with a straight thinking mind could think that that's actually a good idea to do to their car. I like it for the lols. What have we got here? Oh no, I didn't know what to expect, but that is certainly not what I was expecting. I mean, pausing here, I actually paused it perfectly. Hang on a second. You can actually see that the send comes on first, so that's a little bit strange. Someone would certainly tell me with the brake control if they did that, unless I paused it exactly on the rolling shot of the camera or something. Still, like I said, there is no way that I was expecting it to be that on that guy. You know, I was expecting it to kind of pull around the side and we see some crazy aero, because look at the car. It looks as though it's got some other things going on with it, especially just even with the color of choice. I mean, ooh, that's kind of a pumpkin. But no, the fact that someone has actually gone to the effort to replace their tail lights, or I guess their brake lights in this circumstance, just with those words, oh, this is ridiculous. Also, just once again, who the hell even manufactures any of this stuff? Because there is no way that I can see anyone just actually making that personally. You know, some of this other stuff I can see if people are kind of good welders and things like that, they can actually kind of do modifications to the car. But surely, unless you're in a neon business, or I guess this is probably more LEDs, but still, surely there is no one going out of their way to kind of create that just for their car. To be honest, I guess something like this is probably on Wish, and it's probably $2 to buy, so in that case, it's probably a steal. And so now I'm just left wondering, was it the entire tail unit was replaced? You know, did it also come with a replacement reverse and a replacement indicators? Just, you know, you'd have an entire just vocabulary on the back of your car just with all these kind of words you probably shouldn't be wanting to be on the back of your car, but at the same time, I mean, I guess like the title says, I kind of like them for the lols. And honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm just seeing some kind of random episode of Top Gear, or just some kind of friend playing a prank on another friend where they just apparently don't realize that they've got these tail lights just driving around with them for however long. Just kind of similar to having a kick me sign on your back where you just go, oh, I guess I didn't know, you know, why am I getting all these weird looks? Well, that is exactly why. You're asking for something very particular, and then also with your number plate providing the phone number. So hey, that is certainly, I don't know if it's questionable, but it's certainly shitty. East Coast Customs. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't even know. Oh, would that be an X5? I was about to say I don't even know what that car would be. But like I said at the beginning, I just don't understand how anyone thinks that this actually looks good, you know, because somehow with that entire body kit, even though it is obviously angles everywhere, it kind of just looks as though they've gotten rid of every single body line they can, you know. They've obviously bolted a massive front face onto it, and then also just the side just completely flattened the entire vehicle into a brick. And also I haven't even touched on the fact that they are disgusting rims. I mean, other colors it would probably be alright, but just their gold, it just kind of wipes up the entire package. You just know the kind of demographic of person that is driving this. Yeah, I guess exactly like the title said, even though it did say East Coast Customs, not West Coast Customs, really, it's as though this person has gone, you know what, I like Aero, and the person just gone, well, guess what, I heard you like Aero, so I gave you Aero on your Aero, and once you do that, you know, you basically just have a flat face of a brick. But hey, I guess I have that super low carbon fiber splitter, if it is even carbon fiber, who knows, but you know, that massive splitter down the front, and that alone just adds 50 horsepower, so this thing just must fly. And so I guess that's why you need all this Aero, just to make it stick to the road. But no, like always with these kits, I can only imagine that they're just so expensive, and the amount of time to install and just remove all the original bodywork, oh, like, it's just painful to kind of think about. And so to end up with an end product like that, I mean, I guess maybe someone loves it and good for them, but really, like, please just change it for the rest of us, because that is just an eyesore. Clown Vic. Now, I must admit, I don't really know what the Vic is. I mean, it certainly looks like a police car, so maybe it's in relation to that. But then on the flip side, I can certainly see where the clown proportion of the title comes into it, because man, is that ugly. I wonder if that has actually just been painted, or if they're just going around collecting all the different color cars, and they've just gone, oh yeah, from the green car, we'll just take the rear body panel, we'll put it on our car, and then from the blue car, we'll take the front, and then the red door, and just keep going around, just kind of salvaging for all the scrap cars, and then here you go, you got a brand new car. I mean, I guess on second thoughts, if my guess was right, and the Vic is in relation to the police, so I can't imagine there could just being all these cars with all these funky body panels. But hey, what do I know? Maybe it's the new way that police are going to be kind of identifying their vehicles, you know. They just put a green panel here and a red panel there, and that's the kind of just code that actually signifies which car is which. And so, you know, you got the Model 1 of the entire process. Oh, hang on a second. Excuse me for being so miscultured. I hadn't even realized that I could scroll down. Here we go. Let me just go zoom out a little bit. There we go. Now we're seeing the entire image. I hadn't realized that I was that zoomed in. Well, at least the title sort makes a little more sense. And actually, when I read it like that, it actually kind of sounds more like Convict than Clown Vic. Oh, I think that's more so the joke. Okay, now all the very colourful pieces are finally coming together for me. But I must say, if that is actually the case in terms of the word, it was way too hard in terms of the title to read, or maybe it was just me. But still, the fact that I kind of made that connection in my head immediately when seeing it like this, I don't know if it's that kind of little scratch or whatever it is, just kind of giving a little bit of a hyphen. Because before, when I read the title, like I said, I had no idea what the Vic was in relation to. But hey, even though this one certainly isn't the most visually appealing one we've ever seen, at the same time, I don't feel as though it's hurting too many people. Really, if that's what someone wants to do to their car, just make it completely multicolored, whether, like I said, you do it through paint or through body panels, just you go for it. You know, you'll certainly get a lot of looks, and everywhere you go, you just have people questioning it. But hey, if that's what you're after, then look no further than the Clown, because this thing has got it going on. And so yeah, you might question where someone got the idea to do this to their car, but at the same time, like I said, I feel as though it's generally quite harmless. And so in that case, especially given the words on the back of the car, I can only imagine that it's going to be self-aware, and so really, I feel as though it just gets a little bit more of a pass than the other ones do. Hey, let me level my car so I can't drive it anywhere. The classic. Oh, this guy doesn't actually have ramps. Oh my goodness, he's actually lifting up the front of his car just so he doesn't scrape it. It also looks though he did scrape. Oh my goodness, that was low. Holy moly, how is that not scraping? Oh yeah, just a thumbs up, just because, yeah, that's exactly how it's meant to be. Also, I just saw at the end there, it didn't look like anyone was driving, so is he actually just kind of just rolling it down a driveway by hand? That just seems like such an effort to do every single time. Oh my goodness. Oh no, I saw the second time there was someone on the left side of the car, so I can only imagine that's the driver's side. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, but still the fact that someone has to get out just to kind of help me up and over a little kind of, I guess, is this an incline or a decline? Either way, just kind of a little non-flat surface. So I guess in that case, you just have to have a passenger with you at all times, because you never know when a pesky non-flat surface is going to just creep up on you. Honestly, I'm just still blown away that that isn't actually scraping it, because unless it's a perspective thing, there is no way that that thing isn't on the ground. And honestly, I feel as though seeing this post just backs up everything that I said about the last car, because yeah, it was ugly, yeah, it was this and that and this and that, but really it still looked fully functional, and if that's the case, then I guess it's just more power to you, whereas this person is just disabled their car so they can't go anywhere. And So really, which one it's more questionable and just more obscene to do? Because I don't care who you are or why you have your car that you have, and there is no way that a car isn't exactly, when you whittle it down, just from getting you from A to B. I mean, maybe this car takes you from A to A in terms of just is meant to do laps around a circle, but then again, you have to actually be able to get it to the track if that's the only thing you want to be using it for, and really obviously it isn't because you're driving it on the road. But surely if you lower it to that degree and you can't even go down a tiny little decline, then surely there is no way you're going to be getting on and off a ramp. So yeah, I guess what I was going to say besides, it just does not make sense to me as to why anyone would want to disable their car, because I understand why someone might want to lower their car, you know, whether it be mainly for looks or even just kind of the idea that they're trying to make it a little bit more aerodynamic or stable or whatever you want to call it. But surely you still want the thing to be able to function. And I guess also this guy's just kind of one trip away from the garage from having massively stounced wheels. We all know what kind of a slippery slope that is, so please people, don't go down this road. And so now finally, for the top of the line for questionable car mods, we have About Time. The crackdown started this week. If your rims stick out farther past your side mirrors, now in Texas they are illegal. And then look at the article in the news, police tow more than 100 cars during Slab Weekend. My goodness, there were that many people just having just random things just sticking out past the mirrors, not even past the body of the car, past the mirrors, and they towed more than 100 cars for that. That is just insane. I mean, obviously a bill like this would never ever pass in Florida, but man, if it did, you'd have like 1,000 or 10,000 cars like this, surely, from what I've seen on this sub. I mean, I guess in saying that, this sub has certainly provided its fair share of Texan kind of randomness, so hey, maybe it's just one after another the states will follow and just see the kind of light of day. But like we can see with the one on the left, the fact that people were just driving around with just massive, I don't even know what to call them, but they certainly look like weapons of mass destruction just hanging off your rim, you know. You're like, the amount of people that just must be getting scratched up at all times. Also, you would just never fit in a standard car spot, so there is no way that people just weren't going around just taking up 2 spots all over Texas. Let alone the amount of people that probably just weren't expecting and just run into them all day, every day. Oh my goodness, the fact that, like I said, you can pull over 100 cars just on a whim, just on a weekend, that's just insane. Especially because I can only imagine that once word got around that people are getting arrested, or I don't even know, I guess towed, then I can only imagine that a whole bundle of the cars just would have headed straight home just so they don't get them towed, because really that's going to be their pride and joy. And so it's just kind of scary to think about how many of these monstrosities are just out on the road. I mean, I guess at least for me, I get to sleep sound and not know that none of these are in Australia. There is no way that anything like that is getting through. So hey, at least I'm certainly thankful for that, but still, just the fact that, like, I just can't believe that there was that many. And look, I guess it's a good thing that they're finally cracking down on them, because I feel as though we can all be in agreement. The fact that that is just an absolutely ridiculous, shitty and questionable car mod all in one. But anyway, that is going to do it for the top of the one for shitty car mods, so thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube and look at things down below. Let me know if you had a favorite post out of any of these. Other than that, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out now. Or hey, maybe you just want to consider subscribing so you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.